Stand Live, starring Pockets, Hot Rod, Bubble J, Joba, Momo, Scar, Eddie D, Albion, Gear, featuring SR5, Rugrat, Randy C, Trigudo, Vince Conway, Mike Coulon, Sean Frederick, musical guest BSR Mayhem, and your host, BSR Texan. Ladies and gentlemen, BSR Texan.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Spotter Stand, coming at you live once again. We got BSR Hot Rod joining us tonight. Special guest, BSR Pockets 38. It's been a while. Glad to have you back with us here, Pockets. And also the Keymaster, Vince BSR Mayhem in the booth with us tonight. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Hello, hello.
I'm just amazed that intro is fantastic. How fantastic it is.
It is not
It's
too
great.
shabby, isn't it? Thank you very
good.
much to Mayhem for putting that audio together, and it wasn't too difficult to throw a little bit of video on top of it. So yeah, I like that. I think that's the best intro we've had for the Spotter Stand in quite some time.
Agreed. I love watching those cars fade, and I love that beginning when it colors itself in. I mean, it's such a nice tribute to SNL, and it's so awesome.
It's just really cool. It makes me laugh every time. Like cool.
Maybe I should switch the screen over from the black screen there, so yeah, we can actually see the Spotter Stand logo up there. Sorry about that.
Here.
I don't know why I forget about that every time. I let that intro run down. It just goes to black screen, and I forget to swap the scene over so that we can see something besides black screen. You notice who's mentioned first in there, don't you?
Oh.
Pockets.
Pockets.
What's up, Big Vito? We see you out there tuning in. Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully we'll get a few more folks that'll join in here shortly. We did end our regular season in the Xfinity Series this week. Dover was the last race of Segment 2, last race of the actual regular season. We'll be heading off into the chase next week at Daytona in the Xfinity Series. We'll be finishing up Segment 2 of the Cup Series at Daytona this week as well. So let's get right into the racing action. Let's start us off with Wednesday night. We are now 4 races in to the Truck Series chase. Race number 4 was Gateway Night. As you can see over here, it looks like I took the pole, but it was BSR Mayhem, Vince Clortho himself, who took the victory on Wednesday night at Gateway in the trucks. Great job. Congrats on the win, Mayhem.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to that race for a year. I knew I had a good truck last year, and I was just hoping, the new guys come along didn't have something better, and hoping you didn't improve, and everything worked out nicely. And it was a lot of fun. I wish we went there more than once a year.
Let's go over and take a look at our race results from Wednesday night's chase race at Gateway.
Yes, Mayhem with the win. Texans second, Pockets third. Sean Fredericks was fourth, and Hot Rod rounds out top 5.
Look at that, 62 laps led. You definitely had a great truck and a great setup for Gateway because you led nearly the entire race. The rest of us put together only led 18 laps. So, yeah, you led 62 of those. Great job.
Thank you. Yeah, I tweaked on that, and I didn't touch it this time. It was good, and yeah, it's a lot of fun racing that track.
And we're going to shout out to Mike Coulong here, who was there Wednesday night, had a tough break early in the race. I think it was lap 2.
1.5, somewhere in there.
1.5 would be on lap 2. Yeah, I think it was lap 2, lap 1, lap 2, somewhere in there. It was already after the official restart, so the race was official. And Mike Coulong involved in an incident that took out his motor and took him out of the race. Very unfortunate, you know. Sometimes that just happens. It's happened to all of us at some point or another. But Mike, a really great sport about it. Hung around for most of the rest of the race, and sorry for your luck there, Mike. But we'll see you next. Well, not next week because we'll be in the dirt, but the week after, back in the truck chase again. So let's go over here and take a look at our standings in the chase. Now 4 races in. 6 races left to go in the chase for the truck championship. And with that victory, Mayhem closes the gap a little bit. So it's only, I'm still in the lead, but only a 5-point gap right now. Mayhem in second place, down by 5 points. 6 races left to go in this series. So that's a lot of racing left to do, and only 5 points separating first and second place. Right now we got a tie for third place between Pockets and Mike Coulong, both 27 points back. Sean Fredericks rounding out the top 5, back by 31, with Eddie D right on his heels, only 32 points back. So Eddie D right now only 1 point off the top 5. Tie for third place. Pockets, you and Mike Coulong tied right now, only 27 back. 6 races left to go.
Pretty good. We're headed to where are we headed?
Canadian Tire.
Let's
We're
go
headed
back.
to the dirt.
Yeah, let's go back over to the schedule and see what our next chase race is going to be. It will be Canadian Tire,
Canadian Tire.
September 2nd. So this coming up Wednesday, we will be in the dirt, back in the dirt. But the next chase race will be the following week at Canadian Tire. Difficult, definitely one of the most difficult road courses on the schedule. A lot of places in that road course where it's very easy to go off track. Getting off track, especially if you go off in the wrong place and go down and hit the tires, man, it can really kill your car. We know how those tires are. It's almost worse hitting tires than it is to hit a solid concrete wall.
Oh, absolutely. Because the wall at least pushes you off, and the tires suck you in and destroy you.
So let's go over to the dirt series here for just a second. Let's take a look at the schedule, what we've got coming up this Wednesday. So we are now 9 races out of 14 behind us. Race number 10 in the dirt will be at Weed Sport. Second time back to Weed Sport this season in the dirt. Let's go back up here. It looks like, oh, look at there. Weed Sport Hot Rod dominated that race. Somehow, I guess he didn't win the week before. No, Gear won that race, and Hot Rod must not have got any points, any bonus points for the heat race, and was able to qualify. So he gets the pole and wins the race the last time by at Weed Sport. That's one of the few times I think in this entire season that you haven't gotten points in the heat race.
That is the only heat race I have not got a bonus point in.
Well, hopefully we can keep you from getting bonus points again this time, because, man, there's only 5 races left in this series, and I think I'm way behind in second place. Let's take a look at our standings right quick in the dirt series before we move on to Thursday night. Yes, 18 points back. Only 5 races left to go. It's not definite, but I'd say you pretty well got it sewn up. 18 points. You would have to finish dead last in 1 or 2 of these races for me to have a chance to catch back up to you. And Gear Jammer back by 30 points. Eddie D back by 42. Rugrat still in the top 5, back by 47. She's currently got 14 points over sixth place Palmian. 5 races left to go. I think she's going to hold on to that top 5 position before this season's over.
She's chasing down Eddie D. That's her goal. Here's the thing. I don't know if anybody's paid attention, but she has been starting in the back of every race this season. That was her goal, is to come from the back to get up as far as she can. And I think she's been doing a pretty good job.
Oh, yeah, she's been doing a great job. And really only 5 points behind Eddie D right now. That's 1 point per race. So she's got a good shot taking that 4th position away from Eddie D. Definitely probably going to stay in the top 5, no doubt about that.
She's working on it, so I'm pretty proud of her. She, like I said, she's been starting from the back and working her way by everybody, racing clean and just trying to get the best she can. So
on Thursday night, we are now 12 races out of 13, segment 2 of the regular season. In the Cup Series, we just finished racing at Dover this past week. We've only got 1 race left to go. This Thursday night will be Daytona. It will be the last race of the regular season. And we will tally up all of our bonus points and head off into the first chase race at Darlington in this Cup Series. This last Thursday, though, at Dover, it was Mike Coulon who dominated the Cup Series once again, getting himself another victory here in this Cup Series, earning yet another bonus point. Mike has been doing a great job on Thursday nights, consistently in the top 5, several wins in this series, and doing an absolute great job. Let's go take a look at
I actually think him and Mayhem dominated this race. They were only a couple laps apart from the most laps, which Mayhem got.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I had a little strategy going in this race. Mayhem and Coulon both pitted within a lap or so of each other. I still had 13 or so laps worth of fuel left, I believe it was, and I intended to stay out the entire time and run it all the way out of fuel. Do the same thing on the next pit stop, and then hopefully on my last pit stop, I was only going to be stopping for half a can of fuel, maybe a full can, maybe 2 tires, maybe no tires, but it was going to depend on how many laps were left. But we didn't get to see that play out because we did get a caution come out, but I would have liked to have seen how that would have worked out, because being on the track with those old tires, I was 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds a lap slower than Mayhem and Coulon coming out with fresh tires, and they were making up a ton of time on me while I was still out on the track. So by the time I pitted, I would have lost a lap by the time I came out of the pits. But then I would have had fresher tires, and their tires would have been a little older, so I would have been able to gain a lot of that back, and then it would have gone through one more of the same cycle. But then my last pit stop would have been much shorter than theirs. So, it could have gone either way. But either way, we didn't get to see it play out like that because the caution did come out. I believe I trapped almost the whole field a lap down, did I not, when the caution came out?
Yes.
But several drivers had, most everybody had just pitted within 10 laps or so. So we had a lucky dog. Quite a few, 4 or 5 drivers went and took the wave around. So most of us back on the lead lap after that caution.
And the end of that race was wild. Oh my God, was it wild?
Yeah, right. That the last caution before the last caution, the second to last caution, was the one where you trapped everyone a lap down.
Yes. Yes, the last caution came with 10 laps to go, I think, Mayhem.
7 or so.
Yeah.
We had started the restart, and we may have made it a lap, and then a little bit of contact. I got put in the wall, and unfortunately couldn't hang on. But Mike did the classy thing. He reached out to me after the race. We made a phone call and worked it all out, as we should, and we continue on for some good racing.
Well, let's go over and take a look at our results from Thursday night's Cup race at Dover.
Yes, Mike with a win. Trump Frederick second, Hot Rod third, Texan fourth, and Pockets rounds out the top five.
And yeah, I see what you mean here about nearly the same on laps led. Mayhem did lead the most laps with 68 laps total. Mike Coulong led 61 laps, so only 7 laps difference between those two. I managed to lead 25, but that's quite a few less than the rest of these guys. I think the only reason I led those 25 was because I stayed out under the green flag position, green flag under the pit stops.
That's how I got mine, was staying out on the pit stop, because I was basically on the same strategy as you, and I believe Mr. Pockets was on the same strategy also. That's how he got to it.
Yes.
I was the last one out of all of you to pit.
Well, Sean Fredericks.
Well, that's
Go ahead, Pockets.
go ahead. That's a good. That's you know like we were talking after the race the other night. That's, I mean, in a place like Dover, you can expect a caution. I mean, a caution can come out any time. So, and since it's such a short track, you can get caught pitting early there. That's really, you're going to lose time to people by not pitting early. But some people were pitting 10, 15 laps early. That's a lot of time for a caution not to come out at Dover, especially during the exchange of cars entering and exiting pit road and stuff like that. So that's what I always kind of wager there on that deal, is try to stay out and hope for that caution, because me personally, I believe it's a highly likely thing to occur as a caution, and you could actually catch some people 2 laps down.
We have done that already, Pockets. Me and you, we've caught the whole field a couple laps down, as Texan did in this race.
Yes.
We did have a green flag stop, if I recall.
Yes, we did.
Absolutely.
Right, and everything worked out. That's why I'm one of those that'll pit a little early, because I do like the track position, and it paid off pretty close to that. That caution that Texan trapped us down, that wasn't in the beginning of the run. Like, that was towards the end. It was working out quite nicely, but right, you take that chance.
Yeah, we had a green flag stop and almost another green flag stop. Like Pocket says, that pitting here, when you got cars entering the pits, exiting the pits, you got a good chance for a caution to come out there, and especially entering the pits here at Dover. That's a pretty tight little turn, 3 and 4, and you come up on pit road very, very fast. And if you don't get down there and get it woed up fast enough, it's very easy to miss pit road. And if you miss pit road and screw up coming back onto the track, there's a caution right there.
Down to 35, no less.
I did that Friday, but I didn't bring caution out. I just ran out of gas and had to coast all the way around.
Let's go take a look at our standings here in the Cup Series Segment 2 with just one race left to go in this segment. Looks like I've got a pretty good lead over second place. Mayhem in second, down by 47 points. Pockets in third, down by 54. Hot Rod in fourth, down by 61. And Eddie D, rounding out the top 5, down by 82 points. Mike Coulong is pretty close to Eddie D right there in sixth. Mike has missed a couple of races here. I believe Eddie D has missed at least one race.
Mike could maybe at Daytona take over the top 5.
It's possible that, right now you got Pockets is only 7 points behind Mayhem. So depending on how the racing goes there, it's possible Pockets could take over second place. And it's also possible Mike could move into the top 5 here, depending on how his race goes and how Eddie D's race goes. He could possibly move up into the top 5 and get him a bonus point for the segment top 5 at the end of this season.
Pocket's got to watch out, because I could possibly steal third.
Yes, you're only 7 points. So it's 7 points from second to third, 7 more points from third to fourth. And, we all know how these super speedway races go. Anything can happen. Trouble in the pits, blown motor, get involved in the big one that you just can't miss. There's all kinds of factors that play into these super speedway races, especially when it's not a team series and it's every man for himself here. Just about anything can happen. This is anybody's race to win or finish dead last.
See, I consider myself in a pretty good spot. I can't fall out of the top 5. I could move up, but I can't fall out. So we can play a little more.
We stay in the top 5. We're good. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Same with pop. You can stay in the top 5. You don't have to worry about falling out. So we can play that strategy card. Maybe stick a little more tape on at the end, whatever, something like that.
So let's go over to Friday night Xfinity Series. This was the last race of segment 2. There were 12 races in the second segment of this Xfinity Series, and we just wrapped it up with Dover. We will be starting the chase this week on Friday night at Daytona. Will be the first race of the chase. And I see Mike Coulong chiming in out there, says he's just going to be surviving Daytona. So, well, Mike, if you survive and you're up there close to the end, there's still that possibility. You could move into the top 5, get yourself 1 more bonus point. Hell, you could even pull off the win, get 2 more bonus points. But right here at the end of segment 2 in the Cup Series. But Friday,
And it's gonna be great too at Daytona because that's the short race, and the short race starts off, the intensity's already ramped up when the green flag drops because it is go time right then because that's a short race. You got to go. You got to get after it.
No fuel mileage racing this week.
it could very well go just like Saturday night's race went, caution free, and you get a caution free race. You
gotta hit them pit stops, baby.
You gotta hit those pit stops, and if you want to get a bonus point for leading a lap, you really got to try to do that in that first fuel run because you never know what's going to happen in the pits. And if you have a bad pit stop on the first one and it goes caution free, there goes your chance to lead a lap. So you don't get that lap led in that first fuel run, you may not get it the entire race. But Friday night, it was Mike Coulong who took the pole at Dover in the Xfinity Series. And myself, BSR Texan, took the victory, one last victory in the Xfinity Series before we move into the chase, getting 1 more bonus point to add to my total there before we go into the chase. Let's go over and take a look at the race results from Friday night's Xfinity race. This was a hell of a race. Mike Coulong was fast. Mayhem was fast. We were all 3 up there battling throughout most of this race. And when it came down to the very end, I added some tape on the last pit stop. And I don't believe Mike or Mayhem, either one did. And that's what made it all the difference, was that 5% tape jumping up to 65 made the difference in me being able to stay ahead of those 2 guys for that last little bit of a run to take the win.
Every time off the corner, you would just pull away as if you had 100 more horsepower. And I was so afraid to put on any tape because I didn't want to loosen myself up anymore. But damn, I need to do that next time because that was a lot of that speed. And I overdrove my car, as I was saying before the show. I just overdrove it, trying to catch a car I couldn't catch. And fortunately, I lost another spot because I kind of hit myself off the wall.
I was worried in the beginning of that when we first went back to green because kind of like on Wednesday night, I added a bunch of tape there at the end of Wednesday night's race, and it just seemed like it tightened the car and it didn't loosen it like it normally would. On Friday night, I only added 5%. I went from 60 to 65. And when we first went green, those first couple of laps, it did feel like it had tightened the car for some reason, which is exactly the opposite of what the tape usually does. But after we got a couple laps in, got some heat in the tires, it felt really good. It didn't loosen it to the point where it was hard to drive or hard to get off the corner. It was just running right around the corner and right up off the corner down the straightaway. Really good. So, definitely going to have to remember that for next season.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go take a look at the results from Friday night's Xfinity race at Dover.
Texan with the win. Mike Coulong 2nd. Mayhem 3rd. Vito 4th. And Pockets rounds out top 5.
Again, it was close here with the laps led. Looks like I led 68, same number of laps that Mayhem led on Thursday night. Mayhem led 54 laps, and Coulomb with 13 laps led. Look down there, Sean Fredericks with 15 laps led as well. Sean had a pretty good car. Just ended up having some trouble fairly early in this race as well. And I was going to mention the second place finish for Sean on Thursday night. Great race for Sean Fredericks, pulling off that second place finish Thursday night in the Cup Series.
Oh yeah, that was a good job. And Friday night, when he was on a short run out front, couldn't catch him. His tires wore after maybe 20 laps, but man, short runs, he was, it was almost felt like I was trying to catch you with all that tape on there.
Let's take a look at our standings here. Friday night Xfinity Series. The season is over, so this is how the points ended for the Xfinity Series. I did have the lead, 44 points over Hot Rod, 68 points over Pockets in third place, Eddie D in fourth, down by 96, and Mayhem rounded out the top five, down by 129. So Mayhem does pick up another bonus point for a top five finish in the segment, here in segment 2.
I want to talk about Vito's finish.
All right.
All right.
Let me go back over here right quick and pull this back up. Go ahead.
Vito finished fourth, didn't he?
Vito
Yes.
did finish fourth.
I wanted to mention him because he is the epitome of don't give up, just keep racing, keep doing your best. I easily had fourth place in the bag, and I completely burnt my tire up. And I got a real bad push. It almost I hit the wall, and he caught me. And in the ensuing struggle to try on the last lap to try to get back, I actually got into him and turned him, and it was my fault anyway. So he raced his way into fourth place from way back. He was 5 or 6 seconds back from me, but he just kept digging and kept running his race. He had a good setup. He did a good job, and I'm proud of him because Donald's fairly new to all this, and to get a top 4 at a track like Dover, that's a huge accomplishment. I mean, Donald has what it takes to be a good racer. He really does, because he has the right mentality. He sticks with it, and he does everything he needs to do. He's got the right never give up attitude. Just keep digging, and I'm very proud of his finish there at Dover Friday night.
Yeah, if he didn't have a job like the rest of us bums don't, he would absolutely probably be right up there all the time. It's just the seat time,
That's exactly what I was about to say. With all the races that he has to miss because of his work schedule, if he had been able to be at all those races throughout the season, he would have that much more seat time, and he would be right up there all the time, more than likely.
Well, I actually know what Donald does for a living, and I'm not so sure he isn't practicing racing while he's at work. So I just don't know that he can actually.
Well, I know he's usually tuning into my stream, and he's watching the race anyway. He's there with us.
If he had a laptop or he could get his computer in his truck or whatever, I promise you he could probably finish a race sitting out in the parking lot smoking cigarettes. So.
Well, let's go over to Saturday night and take a look at the Saturday Night Team Series, Season 42. Now 4 races in. This was a truck race at Talladega this past Saturday night. And as you can see, Momo takes the pole for the Yingling team. Momo actually, he beat me by a few thousandths. It wasn't much. It was close, but Momo squeaked out the pole at this race, which is it's not that easy of a thing to do, to get the pole here at Talladega. But I did manage to finally bring home a victory for the Aftershock team. You can see SS Joba took the first race win for the Mafia. Palmian took the win in race number 2 for Yingling. And Momo took the win in race number 3 also for the Yingling team. And Aftershock has been struggling this season to get some decent finishes and definitely to get a win. We finally pulled it off here in race number 4 and got ourselves a victory, and hopefully gained some points on these other 2 teams and narrowed that gap a little bit. Let's go over, take a look at our race results here from Saturday night's race at Talladega. I did take the win for Aftershock. It looks like I managed to lead the most laps as well. So led 34 laps, got an extra bonus point there. Brought home a total of 48 points for the Aftershock team. And it was the 38 of BSR Pockets who brought home second place for the Black Car Mafia. Also led some laps, brought home a total of 43 points for the Mafia. And the Yingling team, after having, they struggled throughout this race, had some trouble multiple different times, but were able to hold it in there. They worked together as a team at the end of that race. They were all lined up and teamed up and still able to bring home a 4th place finish with that number 65 car of BSR Hot Rod. Did you finish on the tail end, Hot Rod, or were you one lap? You were on the tail end, yeah. There it says right there.
Ahead of you, yep.
Yep.
I came out in the pits, it was ahead of you. You left me out there, kind of worked with you there to keep you ahead because we outpitted Pockets and SS by a lot. Momo had got a black flag, and I just stayed out ahead of you and pulled you around the racetrack. Kept you ahead of them guys.
So
That fuel mileage, I mean, that one can versus can and a half deal was tricky because I just, you know what I mean? I just don't want to lose one that way.
Yeah.
Texan took a chance because he was right on the border, were you not?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I definitely took a chance, but, I had to. As far back as our team was in the points, I had to roll the dice. Mine was telling me the same thing as Pockets and SS. It was saying a can and a half. And I was looking at it was going to be about right at 10 laps to go. I know usually if you save, you can make 19, 20 laps in the truck. So, sometimes you'll go in the pits and you'll take one can and you'll come out and you say you got like 14 laps worth of fuel, way over what it should be. But not this time. I went in, I moved it down to 1 can, took the chance, and I came out literally 10 and 10. And I was that way for the whole end of that run. My fuel was changing right as I would cross the line each lap, which gave me just enough to make it.
That's another reason. That's another reason he stayed behind me and didn't put me the lap down. He was using that little bit of drip because if he'd have went out front, he would have lost that little bit that he needed to get there.
Oh yeah, and with Pockets and SS taking a can and a half, I was surprised, to see when we came around that they were about 4 seconds behind us when we came out of the pit. So that eased things a little bit, knowing that they were back, 4 or 5 seconds, and we had a larger group of cars and were able to slowly pull away from them. So I was able to just ride there knowing, hey, I can stay behind Larry. I'm going to bring home the win for our team, hopefully lead the most laps. And I'm glad you guys made that decision, Pockets. I'm glad you decided to go ahead and take that can and a half.
Well, and here's the other thing too. That's actually in your as a nod to you. That's actually you take a good chance in them super speedway races in them closing laps. That last 5 or 6 laps, that a caution's going to come out, and that little bit of splash wouldn't have hurt you. It wouldn't have bothered you at all. So, but like I said, me personally, I would rather lose one the way I did than lose one by taking that gamble. You know what I mean? Because if you lose one the way we did, well, we did what we had to. But if you run out of fuel, you kind of beat yourself. So, I mean, you pulled it off. You had some good draft. That half a can made all the difference in the world. So, congratulations. And y'all needed it too to keep it tight. But I will tell you one thing, and we talked about this a little later or after the race, was the deal with, we always talk about all the different scenarios that team racing produces, and I really enjoyed the little battle for leading the most laps there. Even though you led 10 more than I did, that was pretty. That will tell you how much people have their thinking caps on with what Joba was telling me when we were running back there and running up past you at the back of that draft pack for those laps.
You know,
And
I knew exactly what you were doing too. As soon as you started doing that, I was like, you know what? He's trying to get the most laps here, and I was planning on, I mean, if I had tried to change lanes and used you guys to maybe get in frontal areas, I mean, that could have changed the whole scenario and gave you both of you guys a chance to get all the way back up there. So my plan was just stay behind Hot Rod and. I mean, I knew that's what you were doing, and you were able to do it for several laps. Just right there out of turn 3 and 4, get that run coming off the corner, and you had just enough momentum to put you ahead. It was 2 cars versus 3 cars. So y'all had 2, and we had 3 in our line, and you had just enough momentum to get ahead of me and lead that lap. Even though you would fall back again by the time we got to the backstretch, you could get another run and do it again the next lap. And it almost worked out for you. If it wasn't for that can and a half, it was those last 10 laps. That's the 10 laps right there. Those last 10.
yeah, and what was cool about that is that I didn't even I really didn't even think about it. You know, man, when I'm at the back of a draft line like that, I'll run off the line a little bit just keep a little air on the front of the car and basically if there's a bobble or something you might miss it and stuff like that. But that's what made it very interesting because it was a 3-car line versus me and SS and 2 cars by ourselves. But you being at the back of that line all and being in first place with those 2 cars on the tail end up there, all we had to do was pass you. It wasn't like we even had to pass the whole line. We just needed to pass you, and that was pretty sharp that SS figured that out. He said, we could do this every lap. And so that's what we were actually working and trying to do. So that's just another one of those scenario things that I love about team racing that creates that kind of thing right there.
Oh yeah, just one of those things, and that's something that doesn't come into play very often. But when it does, you being able to think about that and try to take advantage of it. I was doing everything I could to stay right up on Hot Rod's bumper, it's just as close as I could to him when you would get that run to try to beat you to the line. And a couple of times it worked for me, but most of the time you were able to get down there and lead that lap. And like I said, if it wasn't for you guys having to take a little bit more fuel, if you had been right there in the pack with us, who's to say who would have led the most laps? Those last 10 is what got me there.
Here's
Absolutely.
here's the other thing that you probably don't know, Pockets, but I went down a lap early in that race. I was a lap down early. Momo was still on the lead lap at that point. And I yelled to Tricia and told her to tell Texan that I was all with him. If he needed to lead a lap, to go, and I was going with him. No matter where he went, I was going.
And she did. She whispered to me right when you said that. She said, "If you want to, try to lead, Hot Rod said he's with you. He'll go with you." And sure enough, the very next lap, I pulled down.
No, I thought we went 3 wide high and went around them on the outside.
No, I pulled down, and you went with me, and we made it around on the bottom.
I knew it was something like that. But anyway, yep. So I was working with Texan pretty much the whole race.
So it looks like we gained 5 points on the Mafia, gained 8 points on Yingling. So Yingling was in the lead going into this week's race. Mafia was in second place, and obviously Aftershock was in third, down by somewhere in the teens, 14, 15 points or so. But we did manage to gain 5 on the Mafia and 8 on Yingling. So let's go take a look at our standings. 4 races in. Definitely has tightened it up. Yingling still has the lead, but only by 3 points over the Black Car Mafia, and 7 points now back to Aftershock. So we cut that deficit in half, almost in half, or actually a little more than in half. We cut it down by 8 points to now only 7 points back. We need to get another win in here to tighten that up even more.
Got a lot of racing to go. A lot of racing to go.
6 races left to go in this series, so
Yeah, that's a lot.
yeah, both of those teams. Yingling is a pretty strong team, and Mafia is a very strong team this year. So it's not going to be easy. We got our work cut out for us, that's for sure. But we ain't giving up, and we're going to keep on plugging and do everything we can to try to hang in there with this Yingling and Mafia team this season. So it's about bonus point time then. Let's go over and take a look at how our bonus points are. So these are your final bonus points for the Xfinity series. Season 1 or segment 1 and segment 2 are finished. So you notice we have got segment 2 box filled in there and the full season box filled in. I did pick up the win on Friday night at Dover, moving me up to a total of 8 over there in the total win box. I believe that's 10 overall. I won at Michigan. You look at that Michigan top 5. I took that victory, and the Texas spring race, I took the victory there as well. Total of 10 victories out of 23 races. Damn, that ain't too shabby right there. Let me knock on wood so I don't shoot myself in the foot here.
That's because I missed a bunch of races.
Won 10 and 13 of the races were won by someone else.
That's right. 6 of them by Mayhem. 2 of them by Pockets. Momo brought home a victory. SS Joba brought home a victory. Eddie D with the victory on Friday night, and Bubba J also with the victory on Friday night. Actually, Pockets, you have got 3 victories because you took 2 in the regular season and you won the season opener at Daytona. So you've got 3 wins there.
You say I won the season Daytona at Daytona?
The season opener at Daytona.
The season opener at Daytona, and where are we going this Friday in excess?
We're going to start the chase at Daytona. So it's the chase opener.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Well, so if you look over here in segment 2, I did take the lead in segment 2, got 2 bonus points. Hot Rod, Pockets, Eddie D, and Mayhem also in the top 5 all got 1 bonus point for top 5 in the segment. And in the full season, when you add segment 1, segment 2 together, again, I took the victory there. Hot Rod, Eddie D, Pockets, and Palmian rounding out the top 5 in the full season. Now, there's a shout out to Palmian right there. His first full season of racing with BSR, and as green as you can get as far as experience level. Palmian just started sim racing toward the end of the 2019 season, so this is his first full season of sim racing, period. And to go through that segment 1 and segment 2, end up in the top 5 overall in the full season, that's an accomplishment right there. That's a pretty good job.
Yeah, you also got to look at Eddie D. It's his first full season too.
That's right. And Eddie D in the top 5, segment 1 and segment 2, and in the full season overall, picking up bonus points in all 3 of those. So if you go over here to the total bonus points, right now I still hold the lead with a total of 46 points. And it is Pockets in second place with 35. So Pockets, you're going into the chase 11 points back from the lead. Mayhem in third place with 31 bonus points, going into the chase 15 points off the lead. SS Joba right behind him with 30 bonus points. And right behind him is Eddie D, one of the gentlemen we were just talking about, with 29 bonus points. And then Palmian with 28 bonus points heading down in the chase. Gear and Hot Rod both with 27. So Pockets, being the Daytona winner, opening the season, and we're going into Daytona to start the chase. You take the victory here, especially if I don't have such a good race at Daytona. If I end up finishing toward the back, you can make that whole 11 points up plus some. You could go into the lead on race number 1 in the chase.
And track like Daytona is where dreams can either be realized or shattered, because you can get into some trouble there and not even finish the race pretty easily. Because, like I said, that race, the intensity is going to be ramped up from the time they drop the green flag. So that also makes it a lot more dangerous situation to be in, because we're in the chase. It's time to get, you know what I mean? Every point counts, every finishing position, every lap you run, leading the most laps, the whole 9 yards. It's, and that's the other thing too, is the leading the laps, the winning. That's all points that are going to go on the board for your total when we head into the last race of the chase. So it's go time, baby.
That's right. And this is a point, since you just said that, I'm going to go ahead and give everybody a quick tip here. We're heading into the chase. 10 races total. Lead a lap in every single race. If it's at all possible for you to lead a lap at any point in any one of these races, that's 10 points. 10 races. You lead a lap, you got a point, extra point in that race. Even if you're not going to win, if you're going to finish somewhere in the top 5, 6th, 7th, wherever you're going to finish, that extra point for leading a lap, that's 10 points over a total of 10 races. Pockets being only 11 points back. If he were to lead a lap in every race, I didn't lead a lap in any of them. That's 10 of that 11 right there. So
Yeah, that'll happen.
yeah, just a little tip for all you guys out there watching, and we're going into the chase. Whether it has to be under caution, staying out to lead a lap, whatever you got to do. That definitely is something I think about every time, especially when we're in the chase. I always think about getting that bonus point for leading the lap every single race. So let's go take a look.
Exciting.
That's right. That's right. Let's take a look at the Cup Series. Just one race left to go in the Cup Series before we head off into the chase for the Cup Series as well. It was Mike Coulon who picked up the victory on Thursday night and got himself another bonus point, moving him up to a total of 5 wins. 5 wins for Mike Coulon already this season. He is, right there behind myself and Mayhem. Both of us are showing 6. Mayhem also won Spring Texas, which makes 7 for him. And I won the Michigan race, which makes 7 for me. So both Mayhem and I have been here since the start at Daytona, and we've won a total of 7 races. Mike Coulon came in towards the latter part of segment 1. I believe it was about 3 or 4 races, 4, maybe 5 tops. So he missed at least 10 of the first races of this season, and he's already right there at 5 wins. So somebody to watch out for here when we get to the chase, even though he's going to be going in a few points back. He's definitely going to be a threat going through the Cup chase this season. If you look over here with total bonus points, right now I'm sitting at 30 bonus points total. Mayhem, last year's champion, at 26, only 4 points behind. And SS Joba at 21, currently only 9 points behind. So if you look down there at Mike Coulon, gentleman who just took the win, he's got a total of 9 bonus points. Those are just whatever wins he's had, the 5 wins he had, and I guess that would be 4 attendance bonus points for the last 4 races of segment 1. So there you go. Mike Coulon missed 9 races. If he made the last 4, he missed 9. He missed the first 9 races of the season and still got several wins. If he'd have been at those 9, he might be ahead of you and I in the overall win count there, Mayhem.
Absolutely. It's he's a threat every week for sure.
And so right now he is 21 points back heading into the chase. And I'm pretty sure Mike has been at enough races in segment 2. He's going to get the full bonus points, full 13 just like the rest of us. So we'll see how things go at Daytona here this coming up Thursday. And if one of us get the victory, that's one extra point for that person heading into the chase. And if none of us get the victory, then basically we'll stay right where we are, except for segment bonus points. The segment bonus points will still be added in, and that'll change things a little bit. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, this is going to be we'll keep it clean for the children. It's definitely going to be a feces show on Thursday night, because you never know what's going to happen. Like you said, blowing gears, blowing up, getting caught in somebody else's mess, getting caught in your own mess, getting a lap down for speeding in the pits. Anything can happen there, and it makes for a lot of fun for sure.
Yes, Texan. Mike already has more than enough.
Yeah.
To get the bonus points for all the bonus points for the second segment.
Right, for the attendance. I think the only races he missed were
For the first two, one vacation and then the accident.
right. So feces, huh? That's your keep it clean word.
Yes, sir.
When the feces hits the fan, which it will be this week at Daytona, Thursday and Friday night. And don't forget, it will be Weed Sport. It's Weed Sport, right?
Yes,
Yes.
on Wednesday.
Weed Sport Wednesday night in the dirt. Hopefully we'll get a good turnout there. We'll have some fun. Weed Sport, a great track to race at. We had a lot of fun last time we were there. I'm sure it'll be fun again this Wednesday night. Then Thursday and Friday will be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will be Daytona. Daytona for the rest of the week after Wednesday night. So last race of segment 2 in the Cup Series, first race of the Chase in the Xfinity Series, and then we'll be on to race number 5 of season 42 in the Team Series. So we appreciate all you guys tuning in out there, watching us live, and thanks to you guys for being in here. It's good to have you with us once again, Pockets. Hopefully you can join us next week after Daytona. Maybe you'll have a win or two to talk about on the spotter stand, and we'll see all you guys.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I really do hope so. I'm looking forward to it. I love the super speedways, and I'll have my mask on, and I'll see you guys down in Florida.
That's right. So we'll see all you guys Wednesday night at Weed Sport in the dirt. You guys have a good one.
Holla.
Later.